What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. So we are here in Jarburg. In this episode, we are going to make our way finally to Caelid. But first, there's something that I want to show you guys in the Volcano Manor. Just a slight correction from last episode. Last episode, I said, I remember when we talked about when I discussed the abductor that took us from Raya Lucaria to the Volcano Manor. Actually, this is not the one I want. I want this one. And that the only way I knew of to get to that area was via that abduction. I want to correct that because there actually is a way that is very hidden that will allow you to get to that same spot in case you did not get abducted. The reason why I want to point this out specifically is because if you did not get abducted, there is a boss over here that you can fight. You get to the subterranean Inquisition chamber, and then you eventually make your way down here to the dual abductor virgin boss fight. And so just in case you did not get abducted in the Raya Lucaria Academy, I do want to show you how you can get there just from the dungeon itself. So first of all, you saw where I warped to. I warped to the Prison Town Church and then went across the bridge, the shortcut bridge. Over here, we found a Somber Smithing Stone 5. And this is around where your spot's going to be. So what you can do is you see there's a spot you can drop down right here. So just shimmy off the edge. You will take damage unless you use a soft cotton or the cattail talisman or whatever it's called. But it's not going to be fatal. And you can head down here this way. And then through here's a little cave, which will allow you to drop down here. Now, this is where the abductor takes you from the Raya Lucaria Academy. So to get to the secret boss fight, all you got to do is go this way. And this is the same exact path that we followed way back in the Raya Lucaria Academy episode. So just a little tidbit that I found interesting that I wanted to point out just to correct something that I said in the last episode. And just to point out for those of you guys who maybe hadn't been following me back in the Raya Lucaria episodes, but started following now and had missed that area, I just wanted to point that out, that it is possible to access it from here. So where we're going to start is the Smoldering Church. So we went here way back when we were exploring Limgrave, but now it is time for us to dive into Caelid proper. So what we're going to do for starters is down in this region, there's going to be some runes we want to get. And then around here is going to be a site of grace and some extra loot. Then we're going to hit up the minor Erd tree here. And then next to the minor Erd tree, there is a catacombs. So we're going to be doing that for starters. So this is going to be more, as I said, we are going to do a catacombs in this episode. But for the most part, this will be more of an exploration based episode where we're going to be hitting up a lot of different spots. We're going to be getting one of the map fragments in Caelid. So we're going to be opening things up just a bit as well. So for starters, there's like a grave site place over here that we're going to get some runes. And so, you know, there is some debate, I will say, about, you know, what's the proper order through the game. Just a little bit on that. So we did the Altus Plateau first. There's some people who would say you should do Caelid first, or at least the lower portion of Caelid, because I would say Caelid is split into two portions, the lower half, and then there's the northern part. So the lower part is doable earlier in the game, and you can certainly fight the main boss, the Shard Bearer in Caelid, General Radon, earlier than we are now. However, that northern part of Caelid is markedly more difficult than the southern portion of Caelid. And so my general philosophy with this walkthrough is to do every area in its entirety before moving on to the next area. So we did all of Limgrave, we did all of Liurnia, we did all of the upper plateau portion and Mount Gelmir. Now we're strong enough to where I feel like we're going to be able to do all of Caelid, and that includes the southern portion, which is everything that is down here, as well as the northern portion, which is otherwise known as Dragon Barrow up here. And there is a pretty enormous difficulty gap between the two. So I just want to point that out as we progress. But that's kind of my philosophy. So some of Caelid is going to feel really easy because we're going to be one or two shotting a lot of enemies in this region because we are very powerful compared to when a lot of people might choose to tackle this area, which is perfectly fine, might I add. So let's see. I think there's some lightning grease around here somewhere. Yes, on that corpse over there. So just a little bit. The level that we're at now will allow us to do all of Caelid in one fell swoop, which is what I'm trying to say. And as I've said before, I mean, there are so many ways to actually go about doing this game. And as I said, a lot of people probably like to do Caelid earlier than I'm doing it. And you might feel a little bit OP based on the order of how we're approaching this. But if you did all of Caelid first, and then choose to go up north to the Altus Plateau, then the Altus Plateau is going to feel ridiculously easy. So it really, I mean, Altus Plateau is going to be was going to be slightly more difficult. Caelid will be slightly less difficult, but if you flip it around, Caelid's going to be slightly more difficult, and then the Plateau is going to be slightly less difficult. So really, it really, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't make a huge difference in terms of how you're going to experience the difficulty of the game. It's just that depending on the order of what the order that you do the regions, the various regions of the map in, depending on that order, some regions are going to feel harder, some regions are going to feel easier, and that's just kind of the nature of an open world game. So I personally am not the biggest fan of Caelid, just because it kind of gives me the creeps. And so I personally like Caelid to be easier, and that's just me. I like Caelid to feel a little bit easier, just because I want to breeze through it. So where we're going now is, you see we've marked off that minor Erd tree. There's actually some loot. There's a couple ways of going down to it while I'm getting attacked by these enemies, because I want to get rid of these enemies so I can pull up my map and show you. Let's see here. Is it gonna? I'm still in encounter mode. There we go. So you could start here and go down this hill to the Erd tree. What we're going to do is we're going to drop down from above because there's some loot on these tree branches. So we're still going to get to the same spot, but also we want to get that loot. See, there's a little shiny there on that tree branch. That is a rune arc. So we definitely want to make sure that we're picking that up. So hop on over to these branches, and there's an enemy right there, but nothing to be too concerned about. So I can pick this rune arc up, and then from there we can drop down here. I'm going to take the bulk of these enemies out because we're going to be fighting a Erd tree avatar, and I don't want these guys sneaking up behind me and being, being a pest while we're trying to beat a mini boss. And you see, we're going to be one or two shotting most of the regular enemies in here. Now, if we'd done Caelid first and went to the Altus Plateau second, we'd be one or two shotting most of the enemies in the Altus Plateau. So it really just depends on, again, as I was saying before, the order that you choose to do things in. And there's no, in my opinion, no right or wrong per se. Most people who would come to Caelid earlier before the Altus Plateau would do the southern portion and then come back later to do the northern portion. But the way that I have this walkthrough structured is we're going to be powerful enough to do all of Caelid at once. And we're going to be able to knock out this entire section of map before we proceed with the game. So this is a putrid avatar. So a bit of a distinction from the other ones we faced so far. This one can inflict Scarlet Rot, which is one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of Caelid, is because it is just chock full of Scarlet Rot areas. One of those areas actually happens to be the catacombs we're going to go in after fighting this boss. So when he does his stomp AoE attack, normally it would just be a burst of light that knocks you back, but here you see he shoots out these puddles of Scarlet Rot. So if you hang around in those puddles for too long, you're going to get Scarlet Rot buildup, and Scarlet Rot is basically just an amped up version of poison. It depletes your health much faster than just regular poison does. We encountered Scarlet Rot a couple times so far, but Scarlet Rot in Caelid, Scarlet Rot is the name of the game. I mean, really, it is all over the place in Caelid. So we got the Green Burst and Flame Shrouding Cracked Tears, so those can be put in your Physic Flask. So Green Burst will temporarily boost your stamina recovery speed. This increases your fire attack and your flask. There is a tree branch over here that has an item on it that we're going to pick up real quick. Just be careful, because if you fall, you're dead. But look at that blue water, blue seas. How about that? So just a little bit about the lore of this place. I mean, it's not. The Scarlet Rot serves a purpose in that there was a war that took place here between General Radahn and Melania, which Melania is someone we're going to encounter much later on in the game, but she is otherwise known, you could call her the goddess of rot. And why she is that way, I won't get into that now, but basically this war that took place between these two demigods, essentially it took place in this region of the map, and it essentially ruined the entire region and infected it with rot. That's the long and short of it. So here we have the Minor Erdtree Catacombs, and this area, as I said, does have Scarlet Rot in it, as do many of the areas of this map, section of the map. So what we're going to do is we are going to equip a spell that we should have. So I'm going to take off this Law of Regression. We did that for a puzzle in Brother Corin's quest. We are going to put Flame Cleanse Me on. And what this will do is anytime you are getting Scarlet Rot or Poison buildup, or are poisoned or have Scarlet Rot inflicted upon you, you can use this to cure it. So that way you don't have to use consumable items, and you don't have to worry about running out of those consumable items. So here we go. We have it put on. You'll notice that we need 12 faith to use it, and we only have 10 on this build. So what I'm going to be doing for most of Caelid is I'm going to make sure that I have a rune arc active, which, because I have Godric's Great Rune equipped, using a Great Rune, or a rune arc rather, is going to activate the Great Rune, and it is going to give me +5 in every stat category. So now if we check our status, I now have 15 faith, which allows me to use the Flame Cleanse Me incantation. So anytime I get Scarlet Rot on me, I'm just gonna hit myself up with this, and it's going to cure me, and it will be glorious. So that saves you having to use like these boss jewels, the consumable items. It'll save you from having to use these, because eventually you'll run out of them, and you'll be running into a problem if you don't have another way to get rid of Scarlet Rot. Because as I said, Scarlet Rot is basically, it's a very amped up version of poison. It depletes your health much more rapidly. So just wanted to point that out. So this is an imp-based catacombs. Lots of imp enemies in here. This elevator happens to not have a secret drop-off point, so don't worry about it. So part of my aversion to Caelid, Caelid, has to do with the fact, or it could have to do with the fact that very early on in my first playthrough, I was transported here via the trap chest in Limgrave, and that happened to me before I even had Torrent. So I couldn't, because the thing with Scarlet Rot Swamps is if you ride your horse through them, then the Scarlet Rot doesn't impact you. It doesn't build up. I didn't have my horse yet, so I was like exploring this stuff and constantly getting Scarlet Rot, and I was just like, I just wasn't, fond of this place. So when I came back in the main game, and this is the boss door switch, by the way, when I came back in the main game, much later in the game, it felt really good just to be able to steamroll everything in this place. It was kind of like my way of exacting revenge, which is why I, in this playthrough, aside from the fact that as I said earlier, I want to be able to do the southern and northern region all in one go. That's part of why I'm going here later in this playthrough as well, is because I want to be, I want Caelid to know who's boss, I guess. I don't want to struggle my way through Caelid. I want to manhandle my way through Caelid. So here we got some more loot, and this is a Scarlet Rot build-up swamp. So if you happen to get the Scarlet Rot, you can use that Flame Cleanse Me, and it'll cure you of it. I'm not going to even fight anything in here. I'm just getting the stuff and heading out. So you notice we got the switch for the boss door early, and we have yet to come across the boss door. So this catacombs is tricky in that. Let's send the elevator back up. And there's actually a secret spot that you can drop down below the elevator. So very tricky, very clever, very easy to miss. So a couple things about Flame Cleanse Me. You'll see that I don't have Scarlet Rot inflicted. I just have the buildup. Flame Cleanse Me will actually also cure the buildup of Scarlet Rot. So let's say your meter is getting really full, but you don't have it yet. You can just use Flame Cleanse Me, and it'll bring the meter all the way down. So we have another Scarlet Rot Swamp area in here. I'm just going to run straight across. And this is the boss door. So we're going to do things a little bit out of order. We're going to do the boss first. And then we're going to come back, and then there's actually a side path. Back in that area where you just were, that's going to get us some extra loot. So it's a double Erdtree Burial Watchdog. I don't know about y'all. In my opinion, they look more like cats. That's just me, though. I called them cats in my entire first playthrough. Like, not quite like not quite acknowledging that they are called watchdogs. They remind me. They look much more like cats. I think it's because of their tail. Like, their tails are much longer, much more akin to a cat's tail as opposed to a dog's tail. All right, come on, Lutel, knock it out for me. Thank you. Nice work. Okay. So we got the Mad Pumpkinhead Ashes. And instead of warping out, I'm just going to go backtrack just a bit, and we're going to go up a little side ladder that's going to take us to some extra loot. And then since we beat the boss, we should just be able to warp out of here. There's a side door right here. And some extra stuff in here. Gold rune. Glovewort. A few crabs that I'm just going to ignore. And a big old ladder. As for why these imps are standing still, I don't know why. If they're just if they wait for you to go further down the hall to ambush you, I'm not sure. But we'll just go on and take them out while we have the chance. All right, we got the imp head. This gives you extra endurance, I believe. Points into endurance if you equip it, but your face is going to look like an imp head. Just FYI. This guy was trying to... Oh, no, don't jump off the edge. This guy was trying to get us from above when we were... This was the first kind of swampy area that I showed you guys. We got a Grave Glovewort 5, and I'm pretty sure this is it for this spot, so I'm going to go on and warp out. It's not letting me because it thinks enemies are aggro to me, so I'm going to go back here. Get away from stuff until it lets me pull up my map. There we go. And we're actually going to warp back here to the Smoldering Church. I'm going to take off this beacon. Or no. I'm going to warp to the Rot View balcony, actually. Okay, so we're going to be heading kind of around here is our next spot. There's going to be quite a bit of loot for us to get, starting with a Scarab, I believe. Yep. And you'll notice these dogs, they... Ow, no! They do look intimidating, and they can be a pain. Now, the dogs in this region, we can pretty much manhandle. The dogs, we're going to run into some dogs in the Dragon Barrow region, the northern region, in just a bit, and you're going to see how much more difficult they are. It's quite alarming, actually, how much more difficult they are in the northern region. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and knock out this beacon. But with the level that we're at now, we are, in my opinion, powerful enough to do the northern part. And we're going to do that last. We're going to do basically all of the southern part and then do the northern part. And these birds are quite a nuisance as well. Okay, just let me heal, dude. Oh, my God. All right, thank you. Yeah, these birds are worse than the dogs, in my opinion. And I'm doing a very poor job of fighting it, but that's fine. That's fine. All right, there's some enemies in here as well. Explosive bolts, I guess. Normally, I thought there were dogs in here, but I think those are the dogs that we already killed. All right, got a rune arc. Let's see. And then over here, kind of at this spot, there's going to be a guy sitting in a chair with a somber 4 smithing stone. I'll go on and take these dogs out. Probably gonna get knocked out my horse here. Nope. Okay. So there's the giant jar Coliseum. I actually went there in an earlier episode and couldn't do what I needed to do there. But now that I'm quite a bit stronger now, if I have time at the end of this episode, I think I'm actually going to go back there and take care of my unfinished business. I want to get rid of this beacon here, but it's off the side of the cliff. I need to de-aggro everything before I can... So anyways, while we were doing all that, we did pick up the greatsword. That was the weapon that was on that kind of crashed carriage. The greatsword, or no, we didn't get the greatsword. Okay, let's go get that real quick. I thought we had gotten that, but oh yeah, I opened up the chest, and as I was opening up the chest, I got attacked by a bird. So we didn't pick it up yet. So we got the greatsword. Greatsword is a very, very solid colossal weapon. A lot of people roll with this thing. It does a ton of damage. If you're doing a strength build, it's a great option. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna head on southward, just kind of following this road here. There's gonna be another site of grace. I'll take out this dog. And I don't feel like I need to rest, so I'm not going to rest. Okay, so there's some stuff in these ruins here that we're going to pick up. There are a couple of the like giant chimney flamethrower dudes in here. I'm planning on ignoring them if I can get away with it. There's a couple loose items in here as well. Let's see. And there's these exploding zombies as well. Let's see. Yeah, there's a bunch of these guys. I'm gonna see if I can sneak up on this one so he won't annoy us later. Ha! That worked out. There's the other one over there. That's the item that I was looking for. I just got blasted up top. That was convenient. Smoldering butterfly. For those of you wondering where this spot actually is, in case you didn't happen to get blasted up top like I just did. So there's our site of grace. Just walk straight on down and it was in there. This one, I'm just going to drop down here. There's a little underground section. With a dual pumpkin head boss fight, much harder than it sounds, we will absolutely destroy these guys. As I said, I'd rather be OP for Caelid than the Altus Plateau. Just because I think the Altus Plateau it's one of my favorite areas of the game, really. So I'd rather steamroll Caelid than steamroll the plateau. All right, come on, guy. You're not even letting me be sloppy. There we go. All right. I was really just R1 spamming, thinking I was going to win, and they forced me to be a little bit more tactical there than I was originally planning. So we got the Vised Shield, the Visage, however you say that. And that's basically, it's like a flamethrower type shield. It's a great shield, I believe. And there's another loose loot around here somewhere. Here it is. Great dragonfly heads. And a bunch more exploding zombies. Okay, so the only problem I'm going to have here is the fact that I want to pull up my map, and I'm not going to be able to because I've got enemies aggroed on me. Okay. I'm going to try to do this. Well, the thing is I don't want to do it without the map because I want you guys to have the benefit of seeing, like, where I'm going. I don't want it to be... Got a bunch of dogs feasting over here. Hopefully if I kill these things... Ow. So we got some beast blood. Alright, come on, let me pull up the map. See over there, there's a white dog. Those dogs are a little bit stronger than let me pull up the map, please. Come on. I don't know why it still thinks I'm in combat mode, but I don't know. I don't know if anything can even see me right now. Oh, it's probably because of those zombies, honestly. Yeah. Take these things out just so I can pull open the map. No? Come on. So I want to show you guys where I'm going. What the heck is on me right now? Okay, this is kind of ridiculous. There we go. Huh. Okay, took long enough. So where we're going now is we are actually going to head like right here. There's going to be a way for us to so you already picked this up. There's going to be a way for us to get across to the northern section. So there's like a canyon that we have to cross over. And there is a spot where we can do that right in front of us. I want to say there's some good crafting materials around here, but maybe may have lost track of where those were. There should be some sacramental buds or whatever they're called, the ones that allow you to craft the boluses. Or I think those allow you to craft the Scarlet Rot boluses. Anyway. Take these dogs out. See, there's that white dog over here. He's a little bit stronger than the other dogs. See if I can get a sneak attack on him. Got some hefty beast bones. There we go. So we got some, got a gravesite over here. And try to avoid most of these guys. Okay. Actually, I think the things that I'm looking for are on top of this formation here. Yeah, because I see there's a giant bird up there, and I think he's actually guarding it. So you need to find the way up. There we go. I don't really care to fight him. There we go, the sacramental butt. All right, get out of here. Okay, so where we're headed now is you see that kind of canyon that's right in front of us. It was easier to see when we were up on top. But there is one small gap that we're able to jump across. As you see from over here, it is way too far to jump. But if you follow it along here, you can jump right across. And that gets us to where we're going. So right in front of us is going to be a site of grace. Then if we follow this path, you see right here we've got our map fragment. So we're going to go ahead and get that map fragment. All right, so we've got the Dragon Barrow map, which is the northern section of Caelid that we've got opened up now on our map, which is wonderful. So where we're going to go next is just head straight back on this road here. We're going to head up this little hill. There's a little ghost thing here. Dry as a bone, surrender your strength. Let me feast on your heart. Not really any major point to those ghosts. They don't like lead you on any quests or anything like that, but they're just there to kind of give you a little bit of context. So the dogs up here, I'm going to lure this one over just to show you. So the other dogs we were basically one or two shotting. We are definitely one-shotting with the Bloodhound's Finesse. Look at how much more damage they're doing. And we are definitely not one or two-shotting these. So just a little bit of a flavor for the difficulty gap between Dragon Barrow, the northern region of Caelid, and then the southern region of Caelid. And again, just so, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to do things in this particular order was so that we'll be strong enough to do all of Caelid at once. So we'll be able to continue with our theme of doing each region of the map in its entirety before moving on to the next region. Which makes the OCD side of me very happy. Let's see here. Definitely not enough to level up. I'm just going to reset. And I need to pass the time here. Okay, so you might hear a little chime. There is a Ash of War around here. He's going to fall off, and it'll give it to me. Okay, we got Sky Shot. There's an Arteria Leaf by this tree. And the main reason why we came over here is this merchant.
Well, it's been how can I?
So he's got some important stuff. We'll pick up his ritual pot. We will pick up the Beast Repellent Torch. So much like the Sentry Torch that we got in Altus that reveals the location of hidden enemies, the Beast Repellent Torch has a special attribute to it, in that it says here, torches such as these were used to keep unwelcome beasts away from treasure troves hidden in caves. So these actually can be used to keep the dogs from being as aggressive as they are. And also, primarily the reason why I'm buying this is it also keeps basilisks from being aggressive. And this helps enormously in areas that are just chock full of basilisks, because those have the death blight mist that they shoot at you, and they just could be a really huge pain. So having this torch is going to help us enormously in areas that have lots of basilisks. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up these notes. I'm gonna read them to you so you don't have to pick them up and read them yourself or buy them yourself. So we picked up 2 notes. We got the gateway note. Fort Gale in Caelid houses a gateway that leads to Redmane Castle. We're actually going to get to Fort Gale in just a bit. And then there's a hidden cave in the town of Celia. Look beyond the graveyard at the precipice. That's actually something we're going to get later on in Caelid. It's actually part of Selen's quest line. And in that cave that was just referenced, there is a legendary sorcery. So we're going to be doing that as well because that's going to be part of the trophy that we need for platinum. So I'm going to show you this torch. I'm actually going to replace my main torch with this beast repellent torch. And I'm going to show you. Now, if you go up and try to attack them, they will aggro to you. But I got this torch out, and I'm walking right by him, and he's just kind of like minding his own business, like not coming after me. Now, if I were to get up in his face, he would start attacking me. But if you're just kind of running around, minding your own business with this torch out, he's going to come after you. And I'm going to put the torch away. And, oh, he's still sizing me up. But now he's coming after me. So you see the difference. And I think once they aggro you and start attacking you, I don't think pulling the torch out necessarily de-aggroes them from you. But if you have the torch out preemptively, it'll keep them from coming after you. Again, it does work on these dogs. Primarily the reason why I like it is because it works on the basilisks. So normally the route that I tried it out for this episode, I was going to warp here and then travel by horse all the way over here. But what I noticed earlier when I was up here, that spot is right below this Rot View balcony side of Grace. I want to see if I can drop down because it'll save us some time if we can. I'm kind of doing this improv. If it works, great. If not, then, oh well. I'm going to see if there's a spot from here where we can drop down to. Because if there is, oh, well, okay. That answers that. I totally did that by accident, but it looks like if you drop in the middle of those two walkways, you'll take some damage, but it lets you drop down. So that's perfect. That just saved probably a minute of horseback riding. So, and you see there's a giant bird that just came down to greet us. I'm going to go ahead and take him out just because I don't want the nuisance of having him around when I'm trying to explore. And these things are quite agile. But if we did Caelid earlier, I mean, these birds would be... They'd be almost a deal breaker. Like, we would not be able to just to sit here and fight them. We'd probably have to find a pretty strategic way to go about them. We wouldn't just be able to muscle our way through them. So this dropped us conveniently where this stone sword key door is. So I'm glad I caught that out of the corner of my eye when we were exploring just a minute ago. Because that did save us a little bit of horseback riding. So in here, no boss, just a treasure chest. Got the Sword of St. Trina. This actually is equipped with sleep. So much like our weapon has blood buildup, that weapon has sleep buildup, which can be quite nice. Against enemies who are weak to sleep. So we just picked up a smithing stone 4 there, and then we picked up right here the golden rune 5. And that's pretty much it for this spot. So what we're gonna do now is we're basically going to be heading straight south. So I'm just gonna put some markers here. Just to kind of mark our path just southward. And then this is going to be Fort Gale. There's a bird on top of there. I'm not going to mess with him. So behind you on this tree branch is going to be a Scarab kind of hanging out. So you can knock it down and bust it open. It's going to give you a somber 4. And then heading south, we should come across another side of Grace. There's a little enemy camp over here. I don't think there's really much in here. A couple of dudes. We got a dog over here. Dog is doing some work on these humans. And these are miners. To my knowledge, this is the only time we've seen miners like outside of an actual cave. But those pickaxes are dangerous. Got this guy trying to... So down here, Slightly annoying, I have to say, but this Scarab going around, he follows a really long path, and man, it's this one is a little bit of a pain. I think he comes around here though. I'm gonna try to get him when he comes around here. I think he comes around here. Yeah, here he comes. Oh, missed him. I know he comes around here. Dang it, the dog is... Oh. Ah. The dog should not come after me, though, because I've got this beast torch equipped. The loop that this thing makes is so huge. Ah, it was too late. And now I was too slow getting over here. Having this beast torch out, keeping this dog away from me is actually a pretty solid win. Man, I'm way too late on my swings. I don't know what my deal is. Normally, I'm pretty good about getting these things. And if you have an AoE type spell, you can use those to get these pretty easily. I just don't really know that I have one. There we go, finally. All right, Ash of War, Flame of the Red Mains. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Site of Grace. And up there's the fort that we're going to hit up real quick. I'm going to go on and take the torch off because we're going to be in a spot more with human-based enemies. Going to slip right by these guys. There's going to be a dude up there on that hill who's just going to shoot us with like these gravity arrows. Just run right by him and then prioritize taking him out. This guy right in front of us in the middle has the horn. Enough of you, dude. Did he die? No, he did not die. Dang it. Okay, so around here, there's actually going to be a double, like, chimney smoker dude thing. But there is a spell that we're going to pick up. And then we're just going to get out of dodge once we pick up the spell. Got some smoldering butterflies. And here we get Flame, give me strength. Flame, grant me strength, I should say. Basically, it's a spell. It gives you a 1-minute attack buff. So the front gate is locked. You cannot go through the front gate. But because I'm a sucker for nice views in this game, you can head up this tree branch. Or you can head out. This one was probably better. And look at this. You get to look down on Limgrave, which I honestly... I could sit here for like 5 or 10 minutes and be like, ooh, there's that. Ooh, there's... I just like looking at the scenery in this game. And just being able to have a bird's eye view of Limgrave is so cool. Up there you see Stormville Castle. Anyway, I'm not going to stay here for too long, but if you're a big sucker for views like that, like me, you can soak it in. As I said, the front door is locked, so you have to circle around the side here and go on this tree route. Don't think there's any items up there. There is an enemy over here, though. Do not let him poke you over the edge. So around here, this is where we saw those chimney smoker things. You could actually drop down on them from here and do a plunging attack on that chimney, and it'll blow it up immediately. That's where we got the flame, grant me strength. So to get in the fort, we're going to climb up this ladder. I'm going to clean up my map in just a sec. Take these beacons off that I don't need. Oh, never mind. Game says no, we will not. All right, pick this up. Some warming stones. So I'm going to drop down right here because there's a little doorway here with the treasure chest. The Qatar. It's a very close range, kind of fist-based weapon. I'm going to pull up my MP. I'm going to summon because we got a giant lion thing down here. I mean, you know, not too terribly difficult, but definitely a threat. These things move fast and they hit hard, so I'll take all the help I can get. Go. Got the Ash of War Lion's Claw from doing that. You can also get a Rune Arc down here. So the way forward, I'm going to go ahead and send Lutel back because that's really... There's no boss in here per se. That lion basically is the boss in here, so... All right, hop on over. This takes us back to where we were. This is kind of like the elite enemy. This guy here, he takes the most damage, but we can still pretty much just plow straight through him. He's easier than the Landell Knights that are equivalent, in my opinion. They don't hit quite as hard. Convene the Festival of War. Honor General Radon with the Warrior's Glory. It's in your hands, Sir Jaren. So, what he's talking about there is Redmane Castle, which is down here. This is where we fight the Shardbearer boss of this region. The Festival of Radon. We'll be getting to that later. We got the Star Scourge Heirloom. That's a talisman that gives you 5 extra strength. 5 extra levels into strength, I should say. So we have that's the strength-based version of that same talisman. We also have the faith-based version of that same talisman. And this up here is just, this gateway is the only thing that's up here. If you go through this gateway, it warps you straight to Redmane Castle. We're not going to do Redmane Castle yet. In fact, Redmane Castle is probably going to be one of the last things we do in this region because, as I said, that's where the boss is. If you warp there via that gate, you will not be able to warp back to this place. So, just heads up. I just wanted to show you that it's there. I don't want to skip over it. But so now you know. So you can bust this thing down and make this. You can jump over here. Around here is an item. Looks like down there's an item too. I'm gonna get that after we're done in here. I don't know if that's a loot or if that is a drop from someone that we killed. So this actually opens up the front gate. So, I mean, not that that really helps us anymore because we're done in here. I'm gonna drop down there and get this loot. I think I can make this drop. We're gonna see. Again, if you drop one of these rainbow stones, if it busts on the way down, it's too far of a drop to survive. Yeah, that shatters. So I'm instead going to mark. I think it's just basically the front of the castle. So we opened up the gate, so now we can just go straight out the gate. Or can I drop down here? Yeah. We're just gonna go through the gate. Why not? It's open for us now, and I know you can survive this fall. So, I can't summon Torrent in here. Let's see here. So, just to mark off the map, we're actually gonna head right here, and then we're gonna follow this. This is a swampy area. We're gonna follow this down into our next cave, which we're actually not gonna do the cave in this episode. That's going to be for next episode. After we unlock the Site of Grace. Yeah, that was just an enemy we killed. And I do not need this one anymore either. After we unlock the cave, as I said, I'm going to warp to that giant jar Coliseum. I've got some unfinished business there. I got to take those guys out. Because I tried it before in a previous episode, and I said I was going to give it one try, and I ended up losing. And I was like, okay, so I marked it with a icon on my map, and I said I'm going to come back to it later. So now's as good a time as any to do it. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it in this episode. And if it takes me another hour, well, this will be a 2-hour-long episode. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. However long it takes, however long I'm going to try to do it. So you can circle around this swamp, and of course, if you're mounted, you don't have to worry about Scarlet Rot buildup. This would be a Scarlet Rot Swamp. Now, this candlestick, if you activate it, it's going to follow a ghost that moves very slowly. That's going to take you exactly where we're going, so you don't have to follow it. Just on the other side here is a cave that requires stone sword keys to open. And you notice, I mean, I really don't care about stone sword keys at this point in the game. Let's do a quick check in our inventory. I have 20 of these in my inventory, so really we don't have to worry about these. So I'm going to unlock the Site of Grace. This is where we're going to start the next episode. And this is where I would end it, if not for unfinished business that I have right here. So I'm going to take this off, and this is... I think I originally went to that spot after we did the CO for a well, because the way that you get here is when you go through the CO for a well, when you go all the way through it on the other end, you know, I'll pull up the map when we get there. So you enter the CO for a well right here and Mistwood. So you enter here and you go through this whole underground level, and then you get all the way here to this spot, which is an elevator up to here. So the only way to get into this little canyon here is by what I just showed you. That's the only way. So what we're going to do is follow this here to this Coliseum. When you get to this Coliseum, there's a giant jar. You have to fight 3 invaders in a row, and you have to kill all 3 of them in a row. If you do that, the giant jar gives you it was called an Arsenal Charm. The Arsenal Charm is basically the highest level version of the talisman that increases your equipment load capacity. And so it is a very solid talisman. We have the, I forget what it's called. This is probably a bad idea. I'm going to get beamed with an arrow. We have the Arsenal Charm and the Arsenal Charm +1. This it's not called the Arsenal Charm. It's called something else, but it's better than the it's the more upgraded version of the Arsenal Charm +1. And I'm just ignoring these guys. I don't really care so much to fight them. I might fight the second one because he might get in my way when I'm trying to fight these invaders up here. So I'm gonna take this one out, but not both of them. I don't need to take both of them out. Whoops. Helps if you hit them. There we go. I don't think the first one back there can... He might be able to hit us here, but I don't think he'll be able to hit us all the way up here by the jar. So I'm going to heal up. And the reason I got killed here when we did this the first time is because the second invader that I fought was able to parry my Bloodhound's finesse because she had a buckler, and I was a little bit mad about that. But oh well, anyway. So we got to beat these 3 invaders in one go. Meaning without dying. And then if we do that, we get the reward from the jar. I always like to start out behind the invader when they spawn in and just get a free hit. So he's quick. But we are considerably stronger now than we were when we first started this. Or first attempted this, I should say. So we should make quick work of these invaders. I'm doing this for revenge. So this is the one that killed me. Because I did a Bloodhound's finesse. She parried me on my Bloodhound's finesse and then one-shotted me with the critical. Up. Yep, she got that buckler. Pulls the buckler out, it's trouble. So I gotta watch it. I don't think you can parry jump attacks, though. Alright. That went much better. All right, so that's 2. That hurts. Normally I do better against people with slower weapons, but there we go. Oh, he poised right through that and healed. I think when that hits you, it heals him. Yeah, if it doesn't hit you, that doesn't heal him. Oh, he jumped over my bloodhounds there. There we go. Success! Okay, so once we beat the 3 invaders, we can talk to them. And we get the Great Jar's Arsenal. That's what it is. He's a man of few words. So let's check that out. The Great Jar's Arsenal. So resembles a great jar overflowing weaponry, vastly boosts maximum equipment load. So this one says greatly boosts, vastly boosts. So this takes us to 104 if we were to equip it. This takes us to 106.6. So this I think is the best equipment load talisman in the game. So pretty solid. So anyway, now that we took care of business here, finally, this has been hanging over my head for a while now. We're going to wrap this one up right here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Really appreciate each and every one of you watching these episodes. Thank you all so much for your support for this channel. And I'll catch y'all next time, so stay tuned for some more Caelid. We are, as I said, we're going to start things off right here at the jail cave. So see y'all then.